Company Tim here. We are watching a lucky Grand Prix match that we just did against the BearededGuy. We are running some Nativity raids and playing against the BearededGuy, who's always looking for a game on Discord. He is certainly always on the lookout for a game. Alright. I'm trying out Angel of the Winds here in Nativity. I believe it does have some potential. And BearededGuy is going to go first here. We have a great option to block with Herod's Guard or Herod Agrippa, with the backup of Three Woes here. Also currently trying to decide if I need Grumbled in the deck or not. Should I use Grumble or something that has a little bit more impact on the first turn of the game, like Darkness? In my most recent version of this deck, I do believe I cut Grumbled and put something else in. I'm always kind of tweaking the Lost Souls to whatever just feels right. Alright, they have a star ability of the Ascension that's going to be playing a Lost Soul from my deck. They're deciding to grab my color guard out there, which I feel like they should have gotten my hopper. They play my hopper out of the deck. I can't put my hopper in their territory. All right, it's time for me to do the same thing to them. Virgin Birth, get to take a look at what's going on there. Some sort of NT heroes with demons and thieves, it looks like. Okay. I love to play people's prosperity out of their deck if they get it, because just prosperity is such a good card. Any card in Redemption that lets you draw cards for free, that's probably the best thing you can be doing. And if you play prosperity out of their deck with a play ability, their Lost Soul prosperity can't trigger because it says if drawn. So that's opposed to something like the Grumbled Lost Soul you see there that says if put in play. All right, so now I need to make a difficult decision. What did I underdeck? Did I already underdeck something? All right. Well, anyways, I drew Herod's Temple, underdeck something else. And their first character is going to be Thomas. If opponent uses a search ability, you may take a good dominant from deck. So that's pretty good. It's pretty good against the Herod's Guard, Angel of the Wind start I have going on here. All right, and they have Patmos to go get Matthew. And now I need to make a decision. Do I want to use Three Woes to negate Patmos and hope they don't have another way to get to Matthew? Because if they attack me with Matthew, that's going to be draw 4. I feel like if I have a card that says prevent the opponent from drawing 4 cards, I'd love to play that. Plus, if they attack with Matthew, my best block of Herod's Guard into Herod the Great isn't that good because I can't get Herod's Temple out of my deck anymore because I drew it. So maybe I should have grumbled and tucked my Herod's Temple underneath my deck there to let my Herod the Great be a good turn 1 block. So yeah, we're going to negate Patmos. I am gambling here that the opponent doesn't have Angel or a way to search for Matthew. If I was really desperate about not wanting them to attack me with Matthew, I could have gone Resurrection, get Bethlehem Stable put in my hand. But Resurrection is a card that, it's one card that I can generate 5 or 6 cards off of, so I don't really like to just do a 1-for-1 with the Resurrection. So I'm going to hold on to that. And also I like playing my Three Woes as evil in almost every matchup. There's lots of good stuff to literally negate. So next turn I'll be able to switch my woes over to something like his Thomas or his Resurrection Revealer. All right, speaking of Resurrection Revealer, he's attacking and he's actually grabbing a Disciple out of his deck. It's going to be Peter. Peter's going to convert to Meek to play a good NT Fortress from his deck and ban to a Disciple. Yeah, really wishing I had Herod the Great as a blocker here. But even then, let's say I do decide to go Herod's Guard and Herod the Great. He gets a Thomas trigger, and he can search for, Angel of the Lord, right on, and that's really bad. That's really good, I should say, against Herod the Great. So Herod's Guard is going to come in. What am I going to do? I don't even remember what I was going to do. I guess I'm just getting Herod Archelaus because this one is going to beam me into Angel of the Lord. But like I said, he's still going to be very weak to Rhydon. Oh wait, no. Is Rhydon? Does Rhydon let you to add a hero to battle if you have no heroes to battle? Let me double check something. Alright, so Rhydon says if an evil character is blocking, add a meek hero to battle. So, in this situation, if he had a Rhydon and if he had a meek hero, he could have played it, banded another hero into battle, and I lose the battle. Or if he had a Three Woes, he could have gotten his Three Woes, then played Three Woes to negate the Herod. So very surprised to get that block there. I was definitely dead to a couple of his outs. But generally Herod's Guard and Herod Archelaus is strong against a turn 1 attacker. Alright, looks like we're going to have our Three Woes negate Thomas so he can start doing some searching this turn. We know opponent does have a crouch choice, which he can use offensively or defensively. But looks like we're going to have quite the turn here. We have 3 human heroes, an angel, and a resurrection, so you know what that means. First things first, in Nativity, this is your standard play pattern on turn 1. You got to play your stuff down so you have less cards in hand than them, so they're working with 6 cards in hand. So I want to make sure when I attack, and I want to trigger stuff like Magi, Joseph, Zechariah, all of these characters, I want to make sure that I have enough, at least small number of cards in my hand so that they can all trigger. And I think I actually mess up there, as we'll see in a second. Angel of the Wind's coming in. I get to decide what I want to get. I have to get a human. So I decide that John's going to be my best bet here. I reveal the resurrection, I get to draw 2. And so this is what I didn't account for. So drawing those 2 cards is going to make it so that I don't think I'll be able to do this, their hand abilities of a couple of these guys coming in here. So very unfortunate. All right, Resurrection gets to play that Res Revealer out of the deck and Bethlehem Stable. So this is what I'm saying when Resurrection can draw me like 6 cards here. It's getting the hero, it's getting the fortress, expanding in all these heroes, and all these heroes have their own abilities. And so if I'd played this a little bit better, I could have played my Herod Agrippa down, had 4 cards in hand here, so I would have been able to trigger Joseph, Magi. I don't know if I've been able to trigger all 3 here. So what I decide to do, I could only trigger one of those guys' abilities. Decide to trigger the Zechariah to draw 2 random cards. And the Magi has a band ability. They can band to Nativity hero. So I drew a Gabriel off of that draw. So banning Gabriel, now I can just take an evil card from their deck or a silver card from my deck. And let's just attack their deck here. If opponents' decks don't have 3 woes in them, it makes it a little bit easier for me to win. Also, another card I'm very scared of in the Thief matchup is the Highwayman. Just the fact that he can draw as many cards as a Matthew can on a single block with little to no resources, This is the type of game where I want to just get ahead early and keep them behind. Since I was able to stop them with drawing cards off of their Matthew, I think I want to still go for the resource denial plan here. Because if the thief blocked me, he would have drawn what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. And I'm not about that. I don't want that. Temple Thieves. It's Den of Thieves. Classic. So there's 2 different camps of thief players. One who really likes this card, the Den of Thieves, and the other one who doesn't believe Den of Thieves is all that good. I don't know where I stand. I feel like if you have a Nazareth deck and you're playing Den of Thieves, I could see it working out, but I feel like Den of Thieves, there's too many good cards around that just negate evil cards in territory. This Nativity deck is a good example of that. I have Gabriel and Mary, both of which really kind of attack this Den of Thieves cards and make it really ineffective. All right, Temple. I do like the Temple Thieves though. That's such a solid card. Taking an artifact, negating a card, all cannot be negated. Really nice. Thieves is a good defense. So tossing the next. Let's see what he does. So if he does have a thing to, remove all my characters from battle, I can play Lost Child Found to interrupt the battle and do something. But I'm not sure. I mean, thieves do have some cannot be prevented bouncing and underdecking, and yeah, I'm liking my position right now. And I don't think they play scattered in the main deck. That would be unfortunate if they were able to scatter me here. So if I can just get past this block, okay, they're gonna toss a pilfer at somebody, the Magi down, and they negated Bethlehem Stable. So here's like an interesting thing about Nativity and toss. So let's say I'm attacking with John, tossing the next, and I have Stable out, and they toss something to kill, the Magi. I can't use the Manger, or sorry, the Stable to reserve my guy because the source of the toss is John, and that's not harm. That's a so that's an interesting little nuance there. Thievery of Judas coming in. Used by a thief, you may play an enhancement from opponent's hand regardless of brigade. So I believe this card has to play an evil enhancement here. So risky play by opponent, but if I happen to have one of my Futile Inquisitions, Contagious Fears, No Straws, that definitely would have That would have got me here. But luckily for me, I don't have any of those in my hand, and opponent is dead. And I rescue a lost soul. So we're down a Magi, but we killed 3 of his cards. Got a bunch of our cards out of our deck. Let's see. If we're fighting a Matthew deck, I want to try and minimize the number of cards in my hand. And since I've already drawn all 3 of my angels, just going to discard my angel appears. I do know I have hand protection, but Matthew decks, they can get around hand protection pretty easy. Three Woes. So yeah, very good turn for me. My defense is looking a little thin though. At least we're all protected between Color Guard and Herod's Temple. We got 2 of our best Herods out, plus a Deceiver, which can get some sneaky blocks in the reserve. We got Tubal Cain, we got Herod Philip, and I may or may not have Outsiders, and Herod's Executioner, Herodias' daughter, Herod the Great. So depending upon what happens, the Deceiver is very flexible, and I like to keep him in my hand for secrets. And if I put him down, my Color Guard's Unity would have broken, so another reason to keep him in hand. And against decks that are playing Rhydon, you never kind of want to play all your evil characters out, because what can happen is they attack you with Peter, and they can play Rhydon, play Authority Christ on their Peter, and just blow out all your evil characters in your territory. So it's the good old Ethiopian treasurer impression. Luckily, that's just dominant now. It's not something they can do out of nowhere. But yeah, Rhydon definitely gives Herod some problems. There's a lot of ways Rhydon can mess with some Herods. Alright, they're storing the Thief in the Den of Thieves, which makes it so if I play a dominant, they can take something from my territory. So I gotta be careful there. I don't think I was planning on playing the Second Coming anyways, but if ever I wanted to do a desperation play, it's definitely not worth it now. Alright, what are they gonna go get with Crowd's Choice here? I'm curious. So tell me in the comments, what do you think? So I'm thinking of cutting Crowd's Choice, adding Angel of the Lord to this deck. I don't know. I really don't know. I love the flexibility of Crouch Choice and how it can help me get my turn ones, but I also love the ability how Angel of the Lord is just so good against a lot of the blocks, especially the ones that I'm kind of scared of. You know, if they Goliath and push me out of battle and I'm forced to bring somebody else in, Angel of the Lord can just mop him up really nice. Or if they're trying to block me and try to play one of their Protect Lost Souls cards, I can just, Angel of the Lord, their guide. It's like another copy of Glory of the Lord. And in this Nativity deck, if I can do 2 of my attacks, one attack is Glory of the Lord, gets me a soul. Another attack is Angel of the Lord, gets me another soul. And the other attack is a protected banding with Flight into Egypt. Like there's gonna be games where I don't have to play anything, and they don't get to play anything, just because of like how good my rescues are. So that's the kind of reasoning. And also the ability to just attack with a giant banding chain of heroes, and then I play the Annunciation, which is the Nativity negate card, so it negates out all of your cards in battle. And then I can go get a dominant for my deck. Just grabbing Angel Lord out of my deck is really strong. It's like negate your stuff, kill you. It's just that seems really good. All right, back to the game. We got Mary. She is currently having Unity, so she gets to negate and reserve my woes, which is a good play. And she gets to get the Highwayman, which is a star card from his reserve. So Mary is Mary, what are you doing? Not converting. Okay. What's the block against Mary here? I can go Tubal Cain, and I don't believe there's a lot of cards that can stop this. I spent some time a couple days ago looking at all the good enhancements in Redemption that can stop Tubal Cain getting madness. And I came up here, let me pause the game. And this was the list of cards I could come up with. But basically any card that says like negate a card, negate a neutral card, negate a card of opposite alignment, those are the type of cards that would get you out of it. Anything that says interrupt the battle, that's not going to help you here. But as you can see, most of these cards don't see any play at all, except for maybe Teaching in Parables and First Sacrifice. Of all the colors out there that have the most answers, blue does. They have Behemoth, Descendant, which can negate a curse. I think this would stop madness, because it's technically a curse. But yeah, look at all these answers blue has. Yellow, this is an auto block versus yellow, because if you're playing yellow, you're probably playing this card. Anyways, little fun facts here. These are all the cards. I feel like I missed a couple. There are some maybe starter deck ones that negate cards of opposite alignment. Anyways, this is a list of cards that will stop Tubal Cain. And so against white, I just has to hope he doesn't have potential in the land, Word of Christ, or no need for spices, or or this, or this. You know, the chances, if they're playing a Gospel of Christ good stuff deck, you know, the chances of them having any of these are pretty slim. Anyways, let's go back to the game. Anyways, this is why I really love the Tubal Cain block. Puts opponent in special initiative, doesn't allow them to play their big enhancements that let them band everybody, get the snowball going. And Three Woes doesn't stop it. If you're playing Tubal Cain and you're playing stocks in the reserve, like, good luck, because opponents are just going to be able to stock to Three Woes your stocks, and you're left in a really sticky situation. Because, like, imagine if I go Tubal Cain stocks, the Capture Mary, they get the Thomas trigger, they get Three Woes, they play Three Woes, they get stocks, and I'm screwed. But this way, Madness gets reserved, and now they can't target it anymore, and Tubal Cain cannot be interrupted. So, Evan Natch. Another card that Tubal Cain is weak to. He's not perfect, let me tell you. But Rhydon is very good against him. Because imagine the scenario where I capture Mary. He plays Rhydon. He has Peter to battle. And what am I going to do? So in hindsight, you know, this is probably not as good of a block as it seems. Because he has Thomas to go get Rhydon. And at the beginning of the game, I know he was playing Rhydon. So let's see if he finds the line here. No, he goes for Resurrection. And Resurrection only works with you have to have somebody in battle in order to band. So that's like another reason why I like Tubal Cain. If somebody's holding on to Resurrection and they're trying to play it after I block, and Tubal Cain's great against that. But yeah, Rhydon here would have really smoked me. So let's see, did I have a better block than Tubal Cain there? I feel like I had a decent block with just, you know, maybe Herod Archelaus, but before blocking, do Herod's Temple, and now I'm in a toss battle with Mary. I don't think he had 10 powers worth of enhancements there. But maybe why I didn't do that in retrospect was maybe I thought he had Resurrection. And so if I go Herod Archelaus, Herod's Temple, block, and he does Resurrection, you know, that's not going to be very good. So maybe I just go Herod Agrippa. Yeah, I don't know. Herod Agrippa toss battle. Maybe that was the best block. All right. So here's the power of Nativity. Let's see. I have 3 cards in hand. Draw up, and then I draw Star Bethlehem, which is star ability, which lets me draw. Then I have Prosperity, which I discard a card. I get to draw. What am I gonna discard? Did I already do Prosperity? Let's see, Prosperity here. I could discard Angel of the Winds or Flight into Egypt. Guess I discard Flight into Egypt. So already back to 9 cards in hand. This is fair. This is balanced. uh, Stable gets me some more gas. And the crazy thing is, I haven't even played Star Bethlehem yet. So, oh my goodness, this is busted. Get the Herodias down. Got to figure out if we want to activate the new covenant today. Get our storehouse down. So anytime we search, he gets the Thomas trigger. So I think there's a Thomas trigger there that I think like at this point where I'm like, fine, get all the good dominance out of your deck. I just can't. I just need to go. So that's why I'm kind of pausing here. I'm like, do I want to play into Thomas or do I not want to play into Thomas? Here's a card that's coming in and out of the deck. Good seed. Ultimately, I don't know whether to keep this card in or not. The card is very good. There's no denying that. But I don't really want to play it in the main deck because of Matthew and Outsiders. But if I have it in my reserve, I've been finding I haven't been really been able to get to it all that often because the only way to get to it is New Covenant, Good Seed. And by the point in the mid to late game where that happens, I'm usually activating 20 shekels or something else. Okay, moving in, we have a great attack here. Gabriel to Shepherds. Their deck isn't protected, so I get to play and negate a lost soul from their deck. Let's do Lawless, because again, the theme of I don't want them drawing free cards is the name of the game. And now we negated Den of Thieves, and Den of Thieves not looking too good here. All right, let's see. Good seed, we can add somebody to battle at any moment's notice. Oh, you know something? I should have gone Angel of the Winds to Magi to Gabriel to Shepherds if I wanted to get the stinky Angel of the Winds out of my hand. Anyways, Highwayman here. I was really thinking he was gonna draw some cards, but he decides to get the Fortress out. But that I don't know, man. That he could have drawn one, two, three, four, six, seven cards. I mean, that's a lot of cards. All right, Gabriel Shepherds versus Highwaymen. All right, here's a question. Does Satan's seat negate the protectability of flying to Egypt? The answer is no. And the answer might be like kind of counterintuitive, because Satan's seats like negate all protect abilities, but the way default targeting rules, Satan's seats negate abilities only applying to cards in play and set aside area. And the the ability of flying into Egypt that is currently being done, if that's a star ability, that's in your hand. So because of the source of the protect is in your hand, Satan sees not negating it. So I could have gone Star Bethlehem, give my guy star protection, and then keep going. But instead, I decided to go Crouch Choice, Glory of the Lord, which is kind of the same thing. But I feel like in retrospect, if I really had been 100% sure about the Satan seat ruling, with the Star Bethlehem would have been much better because not only do I get to draw a bunch of cards, like I can keep my Crouch Choice around, I can use my Glory of the Lord on defense. All right, he has a dominant here. He's gonna get Second Coming, and he already has Lost Soul. So yeah, he had played Son of God earlier in the game, and I just never updated the score. Okay, we got a Lost Soul now. Good job, Gabriel. Good job, Shepherds. But even on turns like these, it's good to just play the tapes and think about what I could have done better. Like one of those things was, oh wait, you know, Magi already died, so I couldn't have gotten Angel of the Winds into Magi. Who's left in my deck? There's Mary. I think I don't have Simeon in this version. Anyways, maybe I played it correctly after all. Yes, more Lost Souls. Yes, exactly. Perfect. That's what we want to see. The good thing about keeping Star Bethlehem and not firing it off, and the good thing about that line of play is opponent does attack me with Matthew right now, they will get a whopping one card. So if you're playing a Matthew deck and you're also playing Lost Child Found, something you can do to guarantee you draw cards is bounce all their heroes that have lots of colors. So for example, maybe like bounce John, bounce Gabriel, and bounce Zechariah. If you do that, all of a sudden I'm drawing one card. If I had all those cards in my hand, you draw one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. That's just good. That's just good value. And also if they have like a storehouse in a staple here, like imagine if the Matthew player goes, Matthew white card, Lost Child Found, bounce, storehouse stable, John, or storehouse stable good seed. That's a big swing in momentum. It's not only is like my double hand protection just all of a sudden just gone. You get to draw four off of the good seed. So yeah, even without playing good seed in the main deck, it can still be a liability against Matthew if they bounce it. Thief taking a break from the Den of Thief duty. I have to be careful. If I play dominant, he will get to take something. There's a lot of good things to take, but I feel like at this point in the game, if he takes one thing, that's not going to be the end of the world. Res Revealer shutting down his neutrals. John the Fisherman coming in, revealing Son of God to toss it next and draw two. John is really strong. Card is unbelievably strong. That's the reason why I want to play Foreign Wives in almost every deck, is because Foreign Wives is like a really good block against John. It's the type of block that when you can't rely on your evil enhancements to get you out of the situation, Foreign Wives can just hold their own. But people have played against Foreign Wives, for a long time. They know how to adapt. They know how to play around it. And the Disciples decks love to play a card called Love One Another, which is regardless of protection, you get to convert. And so if you go, they attack with John, draw a card, play Resurrection, draw more cards, and you block with Foreign Wives, you're really hoping that they don't have Love One Another, because you can't try to negate that, because John's just going to toss your negate. So if you have Foreign Wives, Three Woes, that would be really good block against the John who's drawing a bunch of cards. All right, the Resurrection, they get to ban two. Are they playing any good fortresses? I don't know. They get to ban to my lovely characters here. And now I had to figure out what my best block is. Let's see. I could go Herod Agrippa, Herod's Temple, and hope they can't toss him down. Or I could go Herod Archelaus, no Herod's Temple, try to play both of my enhancements. So one of those plans is weak to Glory of the Lord if they have it. The other one's weak to Three Woes. They have it. And he should have both of those in his hand if he's been searching with Thomas the whole time. I don't know if he's playing Glory in his deck, though. Okay, so Mary's in his reserve, which I have Herodias out restricting reserve, so we're going to catch this in a couple of seconds, but this would have been really good for him if he'd been able to use Joseph, ban my Joseph, search for his Mary in his reserve. That would have been really good for him. If you're attacking with Mary, you have to target an evil or neutral card, and Good Seed's a good card. So you can target, the legal targets here are New Covenant, Herod Agrippa, Tubal Cain, Herodias, and Herod Archelaus are protected, and Color Guard is not protecting. That's the downside of Tubal Cain. If you don't have your 20 shekels to bounce him, your territory can become quite vulnerable to choose the blocker effects. I still like how Tubal Cain can fight back against people who choose the blocker if they have to like search for their choose the blocker effect, because I can just madness them again. I love that. Yep, here's where I catch Herodias. Nativity. I really like this nativity deck because of how well it just stacks all this protection. Like I have double hand protection, almost double territory protection, reserve restriction, negate neutrals. It really limits what the opponent can do. Not like in a punishing way like Priest of Zeus or Thomas. It's not like a reactionary punish, it's more like a prevent. It's more like preventing people from doing things. And I feel like that's maybe a stronger game plan. All right, I decided to go with the Herod Archelaus block, which is weak to Glory of the Lord, but not Angel of the Lord. So he's tossing. I had to decide whether to play Contagious Fear or No Straw here. So I'm tossing Contagious Fear, but I am going to play No Straw, given it cannot be negated, top decking all heroes in battle, which is really nice. So that does mean I have to top deck some of my own heroes, but I'm at the point of the game where, denying him impactful draws is going to be better than because I have all I need. I have the New Covenant cooking. I have Good Seed. I have Bethlehem Stable. I can have Storehouse. Like I'm effectively drawing 6-7 cards a turn with all these fortresses, covenants, and territory class stuff out. And so losing a couple heroes, that's not going to. But for my opponent, who's already so far behind, well, he's not like really far behind or anything. Looking at the cards in deck, he has 23, I have 21, which is kind of surprising considering I feel like I've been drawing cards the whole game. I mean, I haven't really been drawing cards the whole game. Like I haven't, I've just had that one turn of Star Bethlehem, but I feel like I could just draw the rest of my deck right now if I wanted to. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm doing the Annunciation to take a look at his hand, see what kind of defense he's working with. Ooh, a moss. A moth attack. I gotta be careful not to trigger those moths. The Mothman. And here's where the late game of this nativity deck can really come in and shine. I can start doing the hand control route when I have Storehouse online. Get first sacrifice, lay it down, start getting rid of their best blocks in their hand. And if I pair that with Mary and 20 shekels, I can effectively be getting rid of two evil cards out of their hand. And that makes them just really hard to block whatever I have going on. Because at that point, they usually have, let's say they have 3 evil cards in their hand. I take the 2 that I care about, and they're left with 1 that I don't have to worry about. So I really like first sacrifice in nativity decks. All right, he does have Glory of the Lord. I feel like this game could have turned out a lot differently if he had been able to get, that right on off, that Glory of the Lord off. And 2 of my blocks would have just been gone, and he would have had 4 lost souls right now. So let's keep that in mind as we're playing. All right. So I don't think I want to use the New Covenant this turn. Let's take out, I don't know, feels like Thomas has already done all the searching he wanted to. Let's take out Res Revealer, then go the first sacrifice. Just try to guarantee an attack here. Underdecking an evil card. I don't care about Great Image. Moss could mess me up. Abaddon. I feel like Abaddon without backup, I could beat that. So yeah, I gotta get rid of his thief in his territory. So I'm gonna have to get either John or Mary coming in here. and then we just have to face down an Abaddon. All right, let's think here. Gabriel, we will negate their Den of Thieves. Joseph, get my favorite Mary out of my deck, banter her, and we take a evil or neutral card out. I don't think I care about Satan's Seat. I think I'd rather get rid of Thief. Mary gets a battle winner out of the reserve. And now I don't think there's any way that Abaddon can do anything. Oh yeah, you can't block with plunderers. If you have a thief in Den of Thieves, they are on. There's a rule. I don't tell me what rule it is or why this rule exists, but basically, if you have a character placed in a fortress, you can't really attack or block with them. But here's the weird part. Ban you can ban them into battle. So if they had a card that let them ban any number of thieves into battle, they could ban plunders into battle. But for some reason, they can't block with it, and it's a real feels bad situation. It's like, oh man. But regardless, what even feels worse than not being able to block with Den of Thieves is Mary negating and reserving Den of Thieves and the thief with it. If that card is somehow, removed from play, all the cards that are in that fortress go with it. So if you shipwreck that Den of Thieves or you marry it, all the thieves in there are just going down with the ship. So I think I'm personally in the camp that Den of Thieves is not going to be worth it. In some matchups it's going to do well. In some matchups, you're just going to give you a 2-for-1, and it's not. It's going to be awful. So, all right, I'm really missing my 20 shekels here. 20 shekels would be really nice to have. Balance my Tubal Cain, but they do have Satan's Seat negating all my protections, so I would be weak to choose the blockers here. For those of you who are wondering, what is this deck weak to? What's the strongest attacks I can make into these Herods and these Tubal Cains and stuff like that? Well, I think about this question too, because I got to figure out what am I weak to and how can I hedge against my weaknesses. But if I had to pick something that I'm probably the weakest to, it's orange cards placed upon my fortresses. Cards like there's one called Possessing Spirit or Paralyzing Demon or stuff like that. But the idea is you place these cards on my fortresses and my heroes, and then you choose the attacker stuff to choose them. I don't have a lot of outs to that. Color Guard only protects humans, so if you had placed evil humans in my territory, I could use Color Guard to protect them. And Herod's Temple only protects humans as well. So after thinking about it, orange cards that are placed on my territory and they choose those as blockers, that is something I am very weak to. Because I don't play add to battle stuff. I can't add my Herods to battle. I play Sheol, which that can help me one time, but pretty easy to negate Sheol. So I'm thinking about this. I'm like, okay, how can I deal with that? One answer I do have. I can play Lost Child Found to bounce those orange cards. I can attack with Mary. Mary can negate and reserve an evil card in a territory. So that's one way to get rid of Tubal Cain. If Tubal Cain's breaking my unity, I can just marry my own Tubal Cain. Anyways, but yeah, I can also marry placed evil cards in my territory. Very, very cool. Mary does everything. Mary can negate and reserve sites if you're site locked. And okay, I was thinking of like another good card against these orange cards that are weaknesses for me. I could start running either Chamber of Angels here, but Chamber of Angels is kind of slow, and I mean maybe I do like Chamber. Don't get me wrong. I just don't feel like it does enough. Yeah, I really don't know. Oh, and the other card is Elizabeth. Elizabeth is a territory class character that negates uh, orange cards, or sorry, negates evil cards in opponent's territories. But here's the thing, like, if they're placing orange cards directly onto my stuff, I don't know if that's gonna get negated. I feel like it negates a good amount of them, like that territory class 2/1 demon, the possessing spirit, I think. I feel like Elizabeth and Chamber would hit those, but not something like, oh man, all these gospel angels, all their names just kind of blend together. So that's just something that I can think about as a nativity player, recognizing my weaknesses, how I can adapt to people who are trying to adapt to me. So if you're watching this video, you're like, I'm gonna beat Tim with these orange place choose the blocker stuff, and you run into Chamber of Angels, Great White Throne. I'll be one step ahead of you. Augur is playing Great White Throne right now. I feel like it's a little slow, but I could see it making the cut. The thing about Great White Throne is like I feel like I'd rather just have like 20 shekels going. This is why I cut Overtaken from the deck. This is like the best Overtaken deck, but still, 20 shekels is so good. I really like the hand control, aspect of this deck. And it's just so strong and just really gives me some free wins. And I don't want to deviate from that. But being able to get your nativity heroes out is really strong. And the upside of being able to discard territory class stuff in your territory with Throne is really appealing too. And if you don't know what Great White Throne is, it's an artifact that says you may banish an evil card from your discard pile to search your deck for a hero. And so like that's really strong. Oh yeah, and the other part, it says you may discard an evil card in your territory to force all but one evil character to withdraw from battle. And so that's the thing that you can use at any time to discard all these territory class stuff that might be put in your territory. But so yeah, that card's really strong, but it's just on the first turn of the game when you really want to be able to use it, there's not really many evil cards that are going to be in your discard pile. So it's like good on the second, third, and fourth turns of the game, but by that time I'm wanting to do 20 shekels. So that's the reason why I feel like I haven't switched to Great White Throne yet. All right, so Abaddon blocked us. He was trying to do something there, and then I used Good Seed to add Shepherds to battle to play another Lost Soul from his deck. Now I'm going to use Star Bethlehem, using the Star ability on Star Bethlehem and John to top deck Son of God. So I get to draw 6 cards, and I get to draw Son of God. Then I can go Son of God Second Coming to win the game. All right, very nice. So yeah, I feel like that if that game had gone a little bit differently, I easily could have lost. So on that last turn there, I think I made a mistake. So opponent, you know how the opponent only had 2 Lost Souls out? If I attack there and he doesn't block, and I'm left with Son of God Second Coming, and I can only rescue 1 more from his territory to go up to 4. And then let's say he had gotten those dominants that he needed earlier with Thomas, and he's at 4 Lost Souls right now, and he attacks and makes a rescue attempt. I lose the game, even though I have Son of God Second Coming. So what I should have done, oh wait, what should I have done? Basically, I'm trying to feel like how could I have attacked with Shepherds there to get the guarantee Lost Soul out of his deck? Because I needed to attack with Mary to negate his Thief, or maybe I didn't need to negate his Thief. But yeah, maybe if I wanted the guaranteed 3rd Lost Soul out there, maybe attacking with Shepherds instead of Mary would have been better. But anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for hearing me ramble about Nativity. See you around.